we will do the ribbing that goes around the bottom of this dog sweater. Before we can knit the outer ribbing, I need to sew the sleeve and that first part of the belly band to the back here. So I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll come back and we'll knit that band. All right, so how do I sew this together? I make sure that I have the seam for the collar facing me, and then I line up my sleeve and the belly band, and the belly band is lined up onto the back. Now I'm going to start with the white, the red, the white, go as far as I can with this gray. I have another gray one here that should go all the way to here. That's how I do it. And I'm just going to grab the long stitch. So figure out, this is a long stitch, this is actually a long stitch, that one's null, long stitch. They all work out in the end, and the long stitches should match. Okay, now we are ready to knit that band that goes around this part. So I thought that other the collar was the longest piece. I was sorely mistaken. We are going to knit 47 left to 47 right in 1x1 ribbing. So what we need to do is we need to set that up. So I'm going to shut this off, set it up, and move the camera. Okay, so now we're going to do the setup, and then we'll get started. You're going to need to load your white yarn. Okay, so we have 47 left. $47 right. We are going to do an E-wrap cast on in white yarn and knit 2 rows. I'm going to reset this now. We want to do it in tension 6 because that is our working tension. If you feel at any point that you need a little bit of weight on this, we can actually start with the waste yarn cast on and the cast on comb. But then we have to deal with getting the cast on comb out when we are done and ready to move on to the river. So I'm just going to drop it between the beds and do the E-wrap. I think you get the idea as to what I'm doing. But you know what? I think I'm going to load that waste yarn anyway, and I'm going to show you both ways. So this is just E-wrapped. I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to do the waste yarn one. Okay, so let's do it this way. We're going to bring them all forward. Five, 46, 47. Drop that. And now I'm going to do the E-wrap, but I'm pulling it through. My waste yarn. There you go. We'll come back when I'm at the other end. All right, that went a little bit faster than I thought. I'm going to bring these all forward. Now I'm going to knit 2 rows. One. One more. Oop. Okay, so now we get the fun of putting them into 1 by 1 and then bringing up the ribber. Well, okay, I said that wrong. Now we get to bring up the ribber, put them into 1 by 1, and then start knitting ribbing. So I am going to put on my knitting arm. Move that over. Put my yarn in. Move it up. Okay, now it's time for the fun. 1 by 1. So there's really no wrong way to start it. So I'm just going to start it. I very rarely have to use this much of my bed, so this is kind of fun. We knit the rest of the ribbing at 3 by 3, but this is a decor item and isn't really meant to be squishy. So I think instead of knitting it at 3, we'll knit it at 4. It may not seem like a big difference, but I think it'll make a huge difference. We will come back when I am on this side of the bed. All right, I am on this side, the left side. Looks like I didn't move my carriage over far enough. All right. Those are all tight. Now I need to put on the rubber comb. So lowering this down by 1, unlocking that. Here we go. In your beds. And that's how this goes. I am not pushing these all up. I am actually pushing them all down because of what's happened in the past. I have trust issues with this. So I am going to move the main bed forward for this first row, and then I will put in the pressers. And we will knit 3 rows, switch yarns, 3 rows, switch yarns. So here we go. Oh, I forgot to put weight. Okay, I'm putting 2 barrel weights onto the rubber comb. One at 30 and the other at 30. This is such a small piece, I don't see any reason why we should worry. And tension down to 4. 4. Knitting this first row and then putting the pressers in. Okay. I have a little table that is interfering here. All right. So that's row 1. Putting in the pressers. Two more rows to go. Now, there we go. Okay, coming back. Now I'm stopping. Before I get to the end, I'm now going to cut the yarn, and I'm going to do that Russian join again. It's not that hard. Wrap it around. Taking a smaller gauge double eye. Now threading it through random threads. You want about 2 inches of this. Scrunch it up, pull it tight. That's side 1. Same deal here. I'm trying to get it through the center. If you can have a center, depends on your plies. Cut your yarn tails. And finish it. Now, 3 rows of red. That's now going into 1. 2. 3. Now we're going to do the Russian join on the side. Make sure I'm grabbing the right one. No, I kind of went too far this time, which is fine. The end product, you won't see this. Here we go, the last 3 rows. One, 2, 3. Now we get the fun of moving all of the ribber stitches up to the main bed. So we'll come back when that's done. Okay, so everything's moved up. Unlocking the ribber. Woo. That was scary. Taking out the yarn, pressers, not strippers. I think that this needs an extra row of white. So I'm going to knit 1 row of white with the regular carriage. Upping the tension to 6 again. Knitting across. All right, so now I get to hang this beauty onto these needles. Now I want to make sure that I am hanging the right side to what is now the right side. So I have belly band, the curve, and the outer edge. I'm going to come up from underneath. That was rather painful. Moving all of these stitches. Okay, this is an end stitch. End stitch. Interesting. Not sure where that one belongs. End stitch. So what I'm doing right now is I'm hanging every second stitch. At least what looks like every second stitch. And we'll see how this goes. Now, if you find that this is popping up too much, if you have a triangle weight, put it around center, stab it in, and put a little tiny barrel weight. And that'll bring it down a little bit. You may have to play with this, so don't get too comfortable with it. You're just easing it on there. We'll go back to this side. I think this one's just a little too tight. I'm going to hook this one up a little different. Okay, I think you kind of get the idea that I'm just easing it across. I'll move it back and forth as I need. Okay, it is finally eased on there. Now I just have to weave in my ends, and then we will knit across. I need to clip. Where's my clips? There we go. Clip. Clip. Nobody wants to have to do any more work than they need to. All right, so tension 6, knitting across once, and then tension 10, and we'll do the latch too. So tension 6, and then we'll do that hand tool one actually, because I think that makes more sense. So I'm going to bring these all forward. And we'll just do it this way. All right, I'll pause this until I'm done. Last few stitches. There we go. Okay. Leaving a nice little yarn tail. We can move everything forward. And then I got to take off all the weight before I can do the latch tool. One of the things I'm going to do is going to very carefully take off the ribber comb. It's going to be a little bit of a pain. Putting my hand underneath to catch it. Okay. The next thing I realized I left on there was my cast on comb itself. So I'm going to very carefully flip that over and take it off. Okay, it's caught on something. Not sure what it's catching on. Okay, that's off. Whew. Now I get to latch tool going from the right to the left. Now the only thing weighing this down is the project itself. I think you get the idea. Last couple stitches. Drop this down behind. Oh boy. Alrighty. Tighten that right up. Pull that through. I see what I missed. So that is the band that goes around the sweater. In the next video, we will finish up the second sleeve. So that's sleeve 1. So second sleeve and the and then the project is actually done, if that makes any sense. So in the next video, we will be seaming up the collar, the second side to the front, and then we will knit the sleeve, and then we will seam from the yarn mark to the end of the piece. While you wait for that video, feel free to take the waste yarn off of the bottom band and the waste yarn off the center, because you won't need it anymore. But don't remove your yarn marks. You will need those. So we'll see you soon.